One of the reasons why I'm here in the Balkans is because my study of the Quran has led me to the conclusion that the Quran is telling us that in the end time, and we are now in the end time, there's going to be a friendship and alliance between two people. And this friendship and alliance is going to take us into the end time, and this friendship and alliance is going to respond to Gaza, to genocide in Gaza. The Muslims in the Balkans are standing up, and I'm proud and happy to see how the Muslims in the Balkans are standing up fiercely, courageously in support of Gaza. And they don't care two peanuts whether NATO approves or disapproves. We are supporting Gaza. I'm happy with this. But they need to know that in the response to Gaza, response to Israel, response to Israel's oppression, the Quran speaks about two people coming together. And that is the followers of Prophet Muhammad, Allah's blessings be upon him, and the followers of the Messiah, Jesus.
And we can see that now in Ukraine front, where you have Muslim fighters fighting, of course, on the Russian side with the Allahu Akbar, how do you say that?
Yes, the Chechen fighters are fighting in Ukraine.
To Allah.
And we are proud of them.
And you have this very popular song about Putin in Palestine.
Already?
Which is praising Putin, yes. And it's a great hit.
So
but
now then,
someone actually doesn't want that unity to happen. The West doesn't want that unity to happen. And you have mentioned Srebrenica, and that is maybe why we still have this Memorial Day of so-called genocide. Someone doesn't want that reconciliation to happen. And did we have the Chechnya war because of that? And the Dagestan radicalizing Muslims because of that? To make the gap between Muslims and Orthodox.
They plan their plans.
Yeah.
And he plans his plans. And he's the best of planners. That's why I'm here in the Balkans, to teach my people that in responding to Gaza, responding to genocide in Gaza, responding to Israel acting like a bully, that I am now the boss of the world, that there is a response in the Quran. And the response in the Quran is that there are Christian people who are going to be closest in love and affection for you Muslims. And those Christians are not the ones who follow Santa Claus. Those Christians are here in the Balkans and in Russia, the Orthodox Christian world. What do you say of a president of Russia who picks up the Quran and kisses it in public? Don't you understand that here are a people who are destined to be closest in love and affection for you? But history is history with bloodshed. Many things have occurred in the past which have put a block between our two peoples, because I don't belong to the Balkans. I come from the island of Trinidad in the Caribbean. So I'm able to come to the Balkans without this baggage on my shoulders, and to teach our people the past is the past. Look to the future, and the Quran is going to guide you to the future, that these two people have to come together in friendship and alliance, because this is destined from the Quran.
What is actually the role of Russia at this moment in our time and our space, in this eternal fight between good and bad, good and evil, the oppressors and the oppressed? Where is Russia and where is Serbia? What are we supposed to do?
I was in Moscow in February of last year, attending a conference on multipolarity. I was surprised that they gave me such a high status in the conference. I was the only religious scholar, and I was an Islamic scholar in that conference. And after the conference was over, I was again surprised when I was invited to join a small group, about 15 of us, for dinner with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. And all the talk in the dinner was about politics and economics, and the minister was in a good mood. He took off his tie, and he was joking and laughing. And I enjoyed the discussion until I got a chance to speak. I asked the minister whether I could speak to him about the Quran and Russia. He must have been surprised, and there was silence, total silence in the room, because the Russians are very serious when it comes to religion. When I had spoken to him about the Quran and Russia, what is Russia's destiny? The minister then asked me whether I can write on the subject for him. So Maria, I then spent the next 5 months writing the Quran and Russia's destiny. And in that book, I broke new ground. Our people will be very unfamiliar with the things I've said in that book, the Quran and Russia's destiny. I hope to launch the book next year, April, in Moscow, inshallah. And Professor Alexander Dugin wrote the foreword to the book. In that book, I argue that one of the missions that Russia has in the world is to block or to checkmate Gog and Magog, which is modern Western civilization. And that is taking place now in Ukraine. The implications of a Russian success in Ukraine would be that Gog and Magog will now no longer come from different parts of the world to the Holy Land, but the Gog and Magog will be only in the Holy Land. That is, those who rule over Israel today. And the destruction of Gog and Magog will take place by the Lord God himself in Jerusalem. But this will be at that time when Jesus returns. The most powerful voice in history to have prophesied that Jesus will come back one day, tell this to the Balkans for me, is the voice of Prophet Muhammad. Allah's blessing be upon him. We know when Jesus will return. We know what he will do when he returns because our prophet has spoken about it.
And what about Serbia? What should we do?
There are those in Serbia whose hearts have not as yet been corrupted, who are a people who sincerely live for the truth, regardless of the price they have to pay. But unfortunately, there are others who worship money and worship wealth. So those who worship money and worship wealth will be gravitating towards the European Union. But those who have faith in their hearts and who stand up for truth and justice will recognize that the rich of the world are the oppressors of the world, sucking the blood of the poor amongst mankind. So how can we be comfortable in the embrace of the rich when they are sucking the blood of mankind? How do we explain economic slavery around the world? Economic migration, all of Africa leaving, going to Europe, going to the United States. Trump's want to build a wall. The Europeans don't know what to do, how to keep these people out. This is paradise. We don't want slaves over here ruining our lives, okay? So Serbia has to choose. And the choice of those who have faith in their hearts, and I am here in the Balkans to touch their hearts, to tell them, you are a Christian people. You should live faithfully to the truth. And a people who have faith in their hearts would not be a people who will worship wealth, particularly when that wealth is stuck in blood of the people, sucking the wealth of the world. Serbia has to stand for truth. And people who stand for truth will be on this side of history, not that side.
And that means having closer relations with Russia rather than the Western countries?
Russia is leading the world in standing up and resisting the Western world. And we take pride in the fact that Russia is doing that courageously. But China is supporting Israel. Even though China is communist, China is standing up towards economic oppression and monetary oppression and challenging the monetary system. And China is leading BRICS. China is leading BRICS, and Russia is supporting China. And that mountain of gold that the West has, that mountain of gold is now crumbling. And that is probably going to be one of the reasons why the nuclear war is coming.